Hello there, my name is Davis, and welcome to the final end of season review of the Valladolid Career Mode series. Season 4, 4 whole years at the mighty Valladolid, and we have come a very, very, very long way. Um, I was just looking at some of my my first couple of videos, and we started off. I don't think we had an outfield player over 80 rated. I think maybe Ben Arthur or Alcaraz was my highest outfield players, like 79 rated. And now we sit here with Oshio Kimmich, 90 rated, Renier's injured 90. You got three or four players on 88, Upamecano 89. It's an absolutely stacked team, and one that's not ridiculously like too outlandish. I don't have like Mbappe's and Neymar's and whatnot. I know Upamecano's a top talent in real life. Joshua Kimmich also. Perhaps they're the only unrealistic signings, but other than that, I think I've kept it quite down to earth. James Rodriguez making the change from Real Madrid, coming to a smaller team, similar to real life if he does end up going to Everton, so that's not too crazy. And that is about it. There's a couple of decent signings. Before we get to the players, we'll have a quick look around the leagues and see how other teams and other leagues got on. So we'll start with the leagues and tournaments that we were involved in, and we've done very, very well for ourselves. A little old Valladolid, come from nowhere in the last 4 years, and we finish top of La Liga, 107 points, one loss all season, come in last but one game off Invincibles, of immortality, and we got absolutely wrecked by Real Sociedad. But other than that, it was more or less a perfect season. 2 draws, one of them draws coming against Real Madrid at the Bernabeu, where we got nothing. It was nothing short of disgrace in terms of refereeing, and some ridiculous goals saw us draw there. And I think there was a game very early on in the season where I had about 20 shots, and we were either missing them or the keeper was saving everything. So other than that, a perfect season. And despite the perfect season, Atletico Madrid finished only a point behind us, losing 2 games all season. I think both of them to us, unless we drew with them one of the games, but I can't really remember 100%. They pushed us all the way, even finished with better goal difference than us. So it's lucky that we did get those wins up on them, because it would have been a different story otherwise. And even Barcelona not far behind, a few more losses, letting them down. And Real Madrid finish off 4th place, topping off the Champions League spots, with Valencia and Villarreal finishing in the Europa League. And the teams going down were the usual suspects: Deportivo, Leganes and Malaga, usually around there, duking it out for a survival. And unfortunately they've gone down this year. We'll go over now left to the Europa League, where once again we are winners. I didn't want to be in the Europa League for this season, funny enough. I really, really wanted to be in the Champions League coming into the last seasons. And unfortunately we got pipped to 4th place by a couple of teams in the end. The last couple of games of the season let us down. But we had another crack at the Europa League, getting knocked out of the quarterfinals against Spurs last year, losing 2-1 on aggregate. But different story this year, beating them 1-0 in the final. 1 goal was all was needed. And we had quite a tricky route to the final. A couple of these teams featuring in the Champions League in real life for the last couple of years. So round of 32, Club Brugge again, ended up seeing them off quite handsomely. Then obviously Ajax, Roma and Arsenal, all quality teams which we were able to comfortably beat in the end, really, on aggregate. So well worth our victory. Into the Champions League, And for the third year in a row, matching Real Madrid's famous run of Champions League wins, Barcelona do it again over Liverpool again. I think they beat them last year in the final as well. So Barcelona and Liverpool run in Europe as it goes still. But obviously Barcelona able to do it in Europe, but not even able to get close in the domestic. Super Cup won by Barcelona, beating Lyon on penalties. Mönchengladbach winning our pre-season tournament, and the Copa del Rey also going to Barcelona, so a technical treble for them. Not bad achievement, considering, but an actual, I say a 2.5 trophy haul for us, with the Super Copa coming our way as well for the second time in the career mode. We won it in our second year, and it was nice to regain that halfway through the season. Atletico Madrid being our main rivals really all through the season, beating them in the final 3-2. And that takes us back to the leagues. So we'll have a quick look around the other leagues, see how other teams go on. Starting with the Premier League, Man City, I think they won it last year in this game. Once again, just running home with it, 1 loss all season. So a really good season from them, 105 points. And then from second to 6th, 7 points. 7 points? 5 points separate. No, 7 points separate 5th from 6th from second. So Arsenal eventually finished in second place, getting themselves back into the Champions League, followed by Liverpool and Man United. Spurs, Chelsea and Newcastle settle for the Europa League spots, with Wolves narrowly missing out, but pretty clear of Everton in 9th. And down at the bottom, Norwich and this year's in real life promoted teams, West Brom and Fulham, both make their way back down into the Championship with one win all season between them. Exactly the same records in terms of wins, draws and losses. Coming up from the Championship, Sheffield United, Crystal Palace, and whoever wins the playoffs there. So former Premier League teams making their way back up, 134 points and an invincible season for Sheffield United. So fair play to them, and a good effort from Crystal Palace as well. Again, 125 points in the Championship. That is a very, very good effort. Over into the Ligue 1, and surprise, surprise, PSG romps home with a perfect record, 38 games played, 38 wins, and 114 points. So once again, PSG running things in the Farmers League. Over to Germany, and we do actually get a surprise. It's Dortmund reclaim the top spot and finally knocking Bayern off their perch, pipping them to the league title by 2 points, and an invincible season for Dortmund as well. 29 wins and 5 draws, no losses, means they go invincible this season. So it's 3 teams now without losses this season. We go into Serie A, and another invincible team. 35 wins and 3 draws for Juventus, means 108 points, means they are also invincibles, and finishing 14 points clear of Inter Milan. Any interesting teams getting getting relegated? Brescia just narrowly avoid relegation, but they stay up. And I think that is it for the big teams. Eredivisie, Ajax ? Of course, it's usually between Ajax, PSV, and Ajax win it this time out. Liga NOS, Benfica win that, narrowly missing out on invincibles themselves. Can Rangers knock off Celtic? No, they can't. They're 13 points behind in the Scottish Prem. And in the Superliga, Besiktas, they go perfect as well. Almost perfect, 1 draw, lets them down 100 points altogether. Sees them with a invincible season in the Super League. And that is it. That is the scores from around the world. we shall get into my player ratings. So despite having actually a very big squad because of the amount of youth players we have brought in, we don't actually have that much squad depth in terms of quality players. And I found myself using more or less the similar sides and with just a couple of rotations here and there all season. So most of these won't have a rating just because they haven't played. But the majority of the top players do. Starting with Jesus Bustos, my Rene Higuaita regen, who was part of the challenge, had to bring in a Colombian superstar goalkeeper to replace the former fan favourite, and also a fan favourite, a personal favourite, had to be replaced, Jordi Masip, who was the highest rated player when we first joined Valladolid, 81 rated, and he has grown and surpassed Masip in his 2 seasons with us, I think, Bustos, reaching 84 rated, and he's been fantastic for us. Made some unbelievable saves, and I think he wasn't top clean sheets in the league, but he was top clean sheets in the Europa League by three or 4 games, I think. So a very, very good keeper who's played, I think, nearly every game for us except for maybe 2 or 3. Yeah, Tifo Kufuentes playing 4 games, which means he's only missed out on a handful of games, and 29 clean sheets. So over half clean sheets in over half the games, and he's been fantastic for us. It's a 7 rating for Bustos. Moving down, Kufuentes done well in when he appeared. He's a very, very good potential rating on him, but due to our challenge, he was never really going to get a sniff. So, but a decent backup to have, up to 77 rated as well, which is a very nice growing 4, despite not playing. A new signing this season, Tio Hernandez, signed from AC Milan, I think. He plays for AC Milan in real life anyway, but missing half the season or half the games from through an injury, still out currently. But in those games, he's done very, very well. Good attacking fullback. Come in to replace Tavares, who was a decent fullback, but felt I could upgrade him going into this final season. And Theo Hernandez was the prime candidate. 84 rated, he's grown 1, and he's decent, very good defensively, and not bad going forward as well. He's very, very quick, so a 6 rating for him. Makes it seem a bit harsh, but the fact that he didn't play as much as he could have kind of affects that. But the games that he did appear in, he done it right in. Again, three goals for himself as well. I think most of them might be through simulation. I can't remember actually scoring any with him. Deo Upamecano, our rock at the back, our main man, despite Diego Carlos being given the captain armband for the last 2 seasons whenever they've played together. Upamecano's just been the better defender all round. Not to say that Diego Carlos has been bad, it's just Upamecano's been unbelievable. He's everything like he is in real life: fast, powerful, tall, can jump, and I mean, the fact that he's got 21 clean sheets in 52 appearances is a testament to that. He's been an absolute animal at the back for us, and can't recommend him highly enough. An 8 rating for Upamecano. Sean Moser, 3rd season with us, signed him season 2, I think, panic buy, but he's done a job for us. He's played a couple of games. Did he come in the Europa League semi-final, something like that, against Arsenal, I think? And in the last 10 minutes, got on the pitch, done alright as well, and kept a clean sheet. So nice to see that from him. No rating, obviously, only three appearances from him. Martin Costa, one I had high hopes for. I think he joined. I think I scouted him first season, and I don't know. It was just he brought him in when I first got him. He was decent replacement, but by this time the second season rolled round, we'd already upgraded on him. and we had a better partnership at the back than what he could offer. So he's been limited to substitute appearances and smaller games, but he's done alright. A 6 rating for him. He's got almost a clean sheet every other game, but obviously against lower level opposition. Allende, another one who's been with us, well, since the beginning, more or less. I think he's still a Valladolid player in real life. Only making the 3 appearances in simulation games, probably. I can't remember using him, so no rating for him. And then we on to Diego Carlos, second season with us, signed at the same time as Upamecano. And our elder statesman at the back, 30 years old now. And he's done a very, very good job for us. Eventually getting replaced halfway through the end of this season, but still making do with bit part appearances here and there. And for when he is needed, he's done very, very well. Good centre-back to bring in if you're ever thinking of bringing in an older centre-back, should we say. I think I brought him in when he was 28. And he's grown since then, so he's hitting 30 now, and due to EA's obvious hatred for players over 30, he'll slowly start diminishing after this season, but the 2 seasons I've had out of him have been very, very good. Quality player, and he gets a 7 rating for me. Max Aarons now, my second ever signing from Norwich, good young English fullback. Seem to have a good handful of them, England, and he is another one to add to the pile. 53 appearances, and he's added a few more assists to his belt this season compared to the last couple, and 88 rated. He's been unreal 4 seasons in a row. Top quality. I think first season he took a little while to get adjusted to him, but since then he's grown, he's gone faster, he's gone stronger, he can defend a lot more well. And he has been fantastic, one of the best players throughout the whole career mode. One that if you can sign him early on, I highly recommend. Because, 88 rated now, he is one of the best in the world. And an 8 rating for him this season, been unreal. Been featured in nearly every game, similar to Upamecano and Bustos, alongside the other players who are ever present in the team. So yeah, 8 rating for Max Aarons. Javier Apa, good cover on the bench. Ended up actually using him more than I would have hoped for come the end of the season due to our injury to Theo Hernandez. But from what I've seen of him, he was very, very good, considering at the start of the career mode, he wasn't even the starting 11. Finally found him when I was looking through the team in the reserves, realised he was a fast, pacey fullback, something we desperately needed. Used him for a bit at the start, and then soon got replaced by Tavares in season 2, I think. Since Tavares was the main man for a couple of seasons, he didn't really get much of a look in. Was limited to substitute appearances, and he finally got a good run of games again come the end of the season, so full cycle for him, and he done very well, to be fair. Considering he's only 78 rated in a team full of top class players, he didn't look too out of place. Maybe not the strongest of defenders, but very, very quick enough to cover his mistakes. And I can't remember anything glaringly obvious that let him down. So a 6 out of 10 for him matches Theo Hernandez, just because they were probably on par, considering the amount of game time they had between them. And on to our newest signing, Dennis Zakaria, signed from Mönchengladbach, who were struggling in the German league. 26 years old. Brought him into, I'd say replace, but it was more of an upgrade over Ethan Ampadu, who went to Manchester United for I think nearly 40 million, and we ended up bringing him in for I think maybe 10 or 12 million more than we sold Ampadu for. and he's set like 6 or 7 ratings higher than Ampadu. Stronger, faster, taller. He's an all-round beast of a player. Ended up being our main centre back for the end of the season here, and he was fantastic. He ended up playing 30 games, to be fair to him, which is a very good effort. Got a very good goal, nice little acrobatic goal in one of the games from what I remember. And he was a very, very good defensive unit as well, often going into the middle of midfield if I ever brought off Nkunku. So he'd go into the centre defensive mid zone, and then Diego Carlos would be subbed on just to shore up the games and stay defensive. And that's what I love about him. He's so versatile. He can play at the back and in midfield. So a very, very good player. 7 rating for him. I liked what I saw from him. And on to our bigger signing of the most expensive signing of the career mode. Joshua Kimmich, 28 years old, 90 rated, signed from the German champions Bayern Munich. Probably my most unrealistic transfer. I think we finished 5th the year before. And we were in Europa League, we were in the Champions League. But Boubakary Samari ended up being sold for, I think, close to 80 million. And Kimmich was available for 90, offered him good wages and a lot of money, and he was up for coming to us. So we took the chance. We needed all the help we can get going into our last season, and he didn't let us down. A omnipresent midfielder in the midfield, started nearly every game for me, and he was very, very good. I think he's in the top 20 on assists in the. I think most of his assists come in the Europa League, so he was in and around there. But other than that, just a fantastic holding midfielder who had the ability to go forward a little bit, scoring a couple of good, important goals. A couple of nice, well taken goals as well, and a top quality midfielder. A 7 rating for him. Nothing spectacular considering his price tag, but he's a very, very solid player and a good signing if you have the money for him. Luis Me also been there since the start. No features for him. Same with Carrazzo. Perez getting one little game in the Copa del Rey. That's the game we did lose, so the less said about that, the better. Azevedo just brought in, and brings us to Ruben Alcaraz, the man who been with us since the start, was our highest rated player when we came into the club, still with us today. 32 years old. He has declined 3 overall since the beginning, so it's not too much. And he's been even more limited to games this season, only getting the 3. I think he had like 12 or something last season. But you know, a quality player, a quality midfielder. If you're ever looking for someone, if in your own career mode, someone cheap to bring in, you could probably get him in quite cheap at the start of the game. And quality free kicks, faster than he looks. He's able to break lines and make late runs from deep. And he was very, very good for me the first few seasons. I highly recommend him. And couldn't speak highly enough of him. Can't give him a rating for this season because obviously he only played 3 games. But other than that, quality player. Manuel Gallardo, one of my first scouted players. Was hoping he'd be my challenge completer of the Valderrama replacement or regen. In the end, didn't actually play him too much. He went out on loan for us last season, featuring a little bit more this season, mostly in like simulation games against the smaller teams, but also in a couple of bigger games like towards the end, filling in at centre midfield. He's not the most ideal centre midfielder for the way we play. He's not very good at defending. He's not the strongest, but he's very, very good technically, which isn't too bad if you bring him on if you say like 2 or 3 goals up, he's not going to make any glaring obvious errors, but no rating for him with only 10 games under his belt. And on to one of the top dogs, Christopher Nkunku, 88 rated, signed him last season from Leipzig, and he has been fantastic for us, like nearly every game. He can do everything. Spoke about it at the end of last season's review. He can defend, he can attack, he can play in the midfield, he can play up front, and the computer absolutely loves him. I think it was like 6 or 7 simulations in a row. He got a goal or two. They just give the goals to him, and I'd say 9 or 10 of those goals he scored are from simulations, and the rest are from in-game, where he does make those deep runs from deep, Lampard-esque, and he's able to finish them very, very nicely as well. Quality player, 8 rating for him. He's the guy who runs the midfield, got the freedom to go forward over Kimmich, and it really, really shines through. On to Jonathan David, one of the 2 main top dogs of the team, and brought him in. Did I bring him in season? I think I brought him in season 2. Yeah, so it's coming into this is his 3rd season at the club, and once again, consistency fantastic. I think between him and Renier, there's over 200 goals. I think this was his lowest scoring season with 26 goals, but his highest assisting season with 23 assists. So once again, brilliant going forward, rapid, breaks lines of defence so easily, and linked up with Renier very, very well. Can finish. The only problem is his 3-star weak foot. 3-star skills does let him down sometimes, but he can make up for that with his 5-star weak foot, which is very, very nice. Over the 3 seasons, I mean, he was the top man last season, 44 goals. Kind of took a step back again this season, similar to the first. Renier was like the main man this season and the first season again. But still, 26 goals. I think he's 8th in the top goal scorers in La Liga, and definitely up there for assists as well. So yeah, just as a second striker, or the Rooney role for Man United, he is a very, very good buy and a top quality player. If you ever looking to bring him in early on from Club Brugge, obviously next year he'll be at Lille, probably a little bit more expensive actually after getting that move there in real life. But highly recommend him if he's still got 5-star skills. That's 5-star weak foot as well, which is always a bonus. Really, really, really good. Then we move on to James Rodriguez, 2nd season with us. Unfortunately, due to EA just butchering 30-year-old players, his legs are absolutely shot to bits. I think he had like 45 pace towards the end of the season, but still managed to get in a couple of goals. Not doing too bad. Just the way we play, doing a 4-2-2 with attacking cams, like attacking wide cams, it's not set up for him. It's not an ideal scenario for his type of player. You'd much rather pass her into his feet in the middle of the pitch, and then he could play from there. But he done what was needed for him. Got a couple of goals as well, to be fair to him, so can't complain too much. And Jonathan David, before I go, I give him a 9 rating, not a full 10 out of 10, but the second highest with a 9. And James Rodriguez is going to get a 6 rating from me. Still, might seem a little bit harsh, but a decent player nonetheless, with a less of a crucial role in the team this season. On to Thiago Almada, only signed him this season. Was expecting him to play nearly every game when we brought him in to be the main guy at left attacking mid, and he probably would have been if it wasn't for another player in the team. In the end, ended up having to share time with him. thankfully he was happy with a rotation role at the club. Obviously, he would have been complaining quite a lot. But he's the kind of player where I think you want to get him in first season at the team or at the club. He plays for, I can't remember, Estudiantes, I think, maybe one of the Argentinian teams, and he is a top quality player. The only thing that lets him down a little bit is 3-star skills, but obviously if you don't use the skills, it shouldn't be too much of an issue for you. He feels incredible on the ball, very responsive, nippy, rapid, and he's got decent finishing on him as well. Again, 6 goals for us, some of them very nice, very well taken. And he done very well for us. He played on either side for us, mostly down the left though, but he is able to do both sides. Obviously, although he did get 40 appearances, I'd say half of them were off the bench, and he done a decent job for them there. But a 6 rating for him. Would have been interesting to use him for a bit longer, see how he grew. But a very good player, and one I recommend signing if you ever have a chance. Takefusa Kubo signed, never been our player, but he's here for the 3rd season now, from Real Madrid. Would have gone back after this season, and I doubt I would have brought him back at all. Despite him being a very good player, scoring less goals than I expected, kind of lets him down. The last season he played in a centre mid role, which is understandable, and this season he had less game time again, just because of the signings of Almada and the introduction of Orellana. Meant that he was limited to time, but decent when he comes on. He's a good impact player because of how quick he is, and he's very versatile in the fact that you can play him wide or you can play him in the middle of midfield, like we've seen last season. But not a bad player at all. 6 out rating overall, and I imagine he'll grow to be a very strong player if you use him consistently and train him up to be a top player. And over to this man, Alberto Orellana, one of the youth squad signings, brought in to be another completion mark similar to Bustos for our challenge, to be the next Valderrama. Obviously, Valderrama was more of a central attacking mid, which, to be fair, is what we played him as. He is right mid on year, but he's grown to an 85, and he could probably quite easily grow even more. He is very good. When we first got him, he wasn't the fastest, but a lot of training has allowed him to shoot up, and he is rapid now. Very good on the ball, 5-star skills, 4-star weak foot is nearly perfect for what you want from a youth player. And only 19 years old, 85 rated, got a few goals and assists for us. I remember one assist where he plays it across the front of goal, across the floor, and it's a lovely assist. I think David Neres, the next man here, finishing off the goal. That was one that stuck out in my mind. But a very good attacking player, and obviously I can't really recommend him because with the youth squad you kind of you got to deal with what you get. But I was very happy to be getting him off the youth. Of the scouts. A 7 rating for him, just a little bit higher than Almada and Kubo, just because he featured more often, starting more games, despite him being unhappy and wanting to leave on loan for somewhere, but not having it. He was staying with us regardless. On to our next new signing, David Neres signed in from Ajax. I was surprised he was still at Ajax, to be fair. Thought maybe he would have gone somewhere, but started the season very well. Got 4 or 5 goals very early on, some very well taken goals as well, and then he kind of just went off the boil a bit when missing in a couple of games, and kind of fizzled out halfway through the season. Maybe, I don't know, I doubt just not playing differently through the middle of the season, but then come the end of the season he was back at it again, banging form, scoring goals again. And he is a very, very fun player to use. Very responsive, similar to Almada, but he does have the 5-star skills, which is very, very fun, especially if you can use the skills. It is a big bonus, and he has a very nice left foot. He likes to cut in on. A player also, I mean, if you can get him early, I mean, he's 88 rated already, and that's from one season. He's 86 when I picked him up. I think on Ultimate Team he's maybe an 81 or an 82, if that. So you could potentially pick him up quite cheap early on in the career mode. Obviously now he's worth 50 odd million. I think he had quite a cheap buyout clause for us though, which was nice. But a good player to get in if you can. A 7 rating for Neres. Would have been an 8 if he'd continued his early and late form through the middle of the season, but relegated to a 7 rating, which is still decent. Renier we leave to last. Castro was on loan last season, didn't really get featured this season. Conceição, also a youth team player come through this season. And finally Bratberg. Our Zlatan Ibrahimovic regen, our backup striker, who ended up having to feature for the most important games of the season come the end of the season due to an injury to Renier. Ended up doing a very, very good job for us, scoring the winner and the only goal in the Europa League final, and scoring some important goals throughout the season, most of them featuring either off the bench or against lower league opposition, but he's still done a good job nonetheless. Can't knock him, and obviously being a Zlatan Ibrahimovic regen, he's going to grow. He would grow it exponentially if you could get him in and use him as the main striker. Obviously with us he's limited to chances with the better options ahead of him with Renier and Jonathan David. But a good option off the bench nonetheless. 3-star, very fast, and a top quality player. And then finally, the main man, Bratberg. Actually, yeah, I got 6 down, but I'm going to give him a 7. That goal in the Europa League final just pushes him up to a 7. And we go back to the main man, Renier. Moved to Dortmund on loan for 2 seasons in real life, I think, from Real Madrid. So clearly someone at Dortmund's been watching my my career mode videos, which is very nice to see. But he has been unbelievable since day dot for us. Since we brought him in season 2, brought him in to be the next R9 and as part of the challenge. And he has been exactly that. Like except for last season, I've sung his praises. He was good last season, but nowhere near as good as the first and third seasons. But regardless, 112 goals in all appearances for the last 3 seasons, 41 of them this season. And he is absolutely unreal as a player. I think you need to get in early in a career mode, but I think one that probably would, because he's at Real Madrid and the attacking talent they have, he's not going to get a sniff in there anytime soon. So if he is available, I highly recommend him for any career mode. I don't think we picked him up for too expensive. I can't remember off the top of my head. 20 million is shouting out to me. But I mean, an 8.2 rating off the computer, off the games is very, very good. If you can compare it to some of the other players, I think Jonathan David's probably the closest with an 8. And then from there, it's just everything's just lower. I mean, it does get preference over attacking players, but Renier is just top quality, and you'd struggle to find a better signing anyway, really. You just need to let him grow. If you just build him up, 90 rated now, That's up to 3 seasons. Give it 2 more seasons, he could easily be in the high 90s. And definitely a competitor to the R9, the Ronaldo legacy. And by far my best sign-in for this career mode. And that is it for the current team. In terms of top sign-ins and top players for the whole career mode in general, a couple of honourable mentions. 3 players who was with us from the very start. Jordi Masip, our goalkeeper from the beginning for the first 2 seasons. He was fantastic for us. Not the tallest keeper, and not the best rated keeper either. He was only 80 run rated, but some of the saves and some of the games he saved for us were absolutely critical, and he was a fantastic goalkeeper to have. Ben Arthur, who was the main man more or less for the first season, had to play him alongside Plaza, who actually stayed with us all the way up until this season, and is a very, very good youngster who would be a good sign-in. His shooting does need a little bit of work though, Plaza. But yeah, Ben Arthur was very, very fun to use. Second season, he kind of went off the boil a little bit. He got marked down quite heavily by EA. Similar to James Rodriguez, his pace just went through the floor. And you made him a little bit more difficult to use, but for that first season, very, very fun. 5-star skills, good left foot, and he was definitely one of the best players of that first season. And finally, of the originals, Mohamed Salisu, I think he signed for Southampton in real life this season, so a good young player from the Premier League to get in, if you can get him. But what an absolute beast of a centre-back, considering didn't have to buy him, he was already at the side. He grew to like 83, I think, before finally moving on. We ended up selling him for a good price and eventually upgrading him. But a very, very good centre-back if you're in the need for one who's not mega expensive but is very, very good. Another one that I highly recommend. And in terms of first year buys, Boubakary Soumare, who we did eventually sell to Sevilla at the start of this season, which allowed us to get Kimmich. Soumare, fantastic player in real life as well, was linked with Arsenal and Manchester United for a long time. Last season, I remember. I don't know where he's gone to this season. Might still be in the French league, I think. But a very, very good defensive midfielder. A bit limited going forward, but if you want a destroyer in the midfield, that kind of Fernandinho role, he is a very good player for that. And one that, unless you followed the career mode very, very vigorously, you might not know about him. A certain Manchester United right-footed youngster in the name of Greenwood. Some of you might know about him, but we had him in on loan for the first season, or last 6 months of this first season, and despite playing half a season, he was easily the best player of that first season. He tore the La Liga apart, and unfortunately we decided to not sign him again season 2. Mostly due to the fact it would have been an unrealistic sign-in so early on. Greenwood was just coming into the Man United team now. He's more of a starter in real life, so he wouldn't be choosing Valladolid over us, and decided to go with Renier and Jonathan David instead, which turned out to be a good choice. But Greenwood is a fantastic option if you can get him in early. If you're not too bothered by the unrealistic signings, I imagine we had him when he was like 79 rated, and he would grow to like 90 odd, similar to Renier, and he would be fantastic, I can imagine. But that is it. That is that for for the series. The season in a whole, this season was very, very good. Obviously winning nearly everything we could. And over the career mode, I think we did nearly win everything we could, to be honest. We won the Super Copa second season, which was one trophy available to us. We won the Copa del Rey season 3, and season 4 just finally topped her off. We win the league and the Europa League, which means that we won everything except for the Champions League and the UEFA Super Cup, which obviously we weren't part of. So a rather successful career mode, I would say. And we shall get into my actual challenges and the reason why I've started this whole career mode in the first place. So here we are, the rules and regulations of the whole challenge of the career mode and whatnot. Start with the first one. Ronaldo, R9, is currently the owner of Valladolid. Get a Brazilian striker either through the youth academy or buy him one, which we did, Renier, and make that the next R9, and get him to be the club's all-time top goal scorer with 73 goals. And for the first time, we narrowly missed out on it last season by, I think, 2 goals. And he more than matched that this season. 41 goals was it in the league, in all competitions. Means that Renier has completed that for us. 112 goals altogether. Means he is quite easily the all-time top goal scorer for the club. And he is more than able to be the next R9. Moving on to goal number 2. We needed to win La Liga and the Copa del Rey for the first time in the club's history. Completing one half of that in Season 3, winning the Copa del Rey. After coming so close in Season 1, very unfortunate to lose in the final against Real Madrid on penalties. We had a little bit of redemption in the third season, completing that, and obviously being taken all the way to the last game against alongside Atletico Madrid this season. They really pushed us, and we finally got there in the end. Took us 4 seasons, but the La Liga title is ours, and we can tick off number 2. Number 3 we had done anyway. We used Ben Arfa. We tried to use Unal, but he wasn't great. Pedro Porro was okay as a fullback for us for the first season, but once we signed Max Aarons, he was kind of pushed out and didn't feature as much. But we did have Real Madrid or Atletico Madrid players for the first 2 seasons on loan. One of them being Kubo, was fantastic for us, to be fair, for the first couple of seasons. So a tick there, which we'd already completed. Another one that we hadn't quite ticked off, but we kind of had. The 2 new Colombian superstars, former Colombian superstars, Valderrama and Higuaita. We had to scout new potential Colombian, a high potential Colombian keeper and attacking midfielder to find the new ones of those. And we did. Bustos, the goalkeeper, 84 rated, fantastic, good, made some brilliant saves for us, and was featured all through the last season. And Orellana, he's featured as a right mid, but he played left attacking mid, and with 5-star skills, 4-star weak foot, very, very quick, unbelievable dribbling, and not bad shooting as well. He is more than capable of filling Valderrama's shoes and being that attacking midfielder that to complete this. So 4 out of 4 ticks so far, and the final one, we never used a single financial takeover, and we didn't sign any players on a pre-contract as stated in the rules. So 5 ticks out of 5 there means that this career mode is done and dusted. And that is that. I'll probably, more than likely, be back for FIFA 21 and start a new career mode there with a new team, new challenge perhaps. See what I can think of or I can find on the interwebs. But that is that. If you've watched any episode of this career mode for a start, or if you followed nearly everyone from start to beginning, I'd like to thank you very, very much for sticking with me and putting up with me and sharing the journey with me. I've had good fun with this. I've always had fun with career modes, but to be able to share with other people has been very, very fun and rewarding. And I hope to do it again. But if you want to stay up to date with future series or future videos I put up, you can subscribe. If you liked the series or liked this video, or if you didn't like the video, leave a like or dislike, or let me know in the comments below how I could do better or what I should do better for next time. And that is that. I have been Davis. Thank you very much for watching. Good night.